our two very special guests, Gino Bottigliero, ladies and gentlemen, in the house, and Paul Staunton.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how's it going? How are you?
Okay,
Fine.
very hot today. I think I sweat at stone walking here, so yeah, good.
Well, luckily we have the air conditioning going on in here, so...
It's really nice, thank you.
You created the first Irish pub together with other
Irish
people.
pub,
Yeah.
that
In Rome.
mostly because of my wife became Irish.
Right.
Not for anything else.
She's from Ireland, which part?
She's from Dublin.
Dublin.
So and she gave that
Influence.
slant.
The Irish, yeah.
Was that before you lived in Dublin though? Before
No. I never lived in Dublin.
as a long term, no.
No, I would just not even the short term. You know, when we married, I visited
Lots of times. Yeah.
lots of time because working for Singapore Airlines, I had free tickets,
Right.
so I went a lot.
You worked for Singapore Airlines.
Yeah, I worked with Singapore Airlines for about 3 years,
Well, didn't know that.
and that was just when the pub started.
And was it the idea was Mary's to say like you should,
No,
or was it something?
the idea was in the office. We were accountants at Singapore Airlines,
Alright.
and my colleague was an Italo-English guy
Oh yeah.
called Anthony Hodson Shorthose. Well, that was his name.
Oh yeah.
Antonio, great character, very well read, an intellectual sort of a guy that was in the wrong job like myself.
Okay.
You know, but we were doing it. You know, it was
Obviously, you were thinking about.
was very well paid.
Yeah. That's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're paid well, and then you want to do your own stuff. And
So we introduced this habit of drinking in the office. We used to drink bottles of Guinness, and we were thinking about. So we came out with this idea of the Irish pub,
yeah.
and
What year are we talking here? In '75.
that was 75.
Yeah.
Actually, it was 76.
Mm.
The end of 75.
Okay.
And then 76, early 76.
So that's where we're talking about the Fiddlers Elbow.
Fiddlers Elbow, yes.
It's based around Santa Maria Maggiore.
Santa Maria
via
Maggiore,
dell'Olmata.
yeah. So then I knew another guy, Orazio, that from a previous employment, terrible one. You know, we were selling systems to learn English.
All right.
Like DVDs and...
It was more
VHS
sophisticated than that, but there was a bit of was crap. Anyway, but it looked very efficient. Maybe it was. We were selling that. I spoke fairly good English, except the accent, but the rest was okay. Orazio didn't speak at all, so he was.
So you did sell well, no?
And when I met him, it was August, and he had a woolen jacket with a woolen tie, because they were the only two things presentable for an interview. Okay, that's absolutely true. And so anyway, when I was talking to Antonio in the office, we got bored. Because we did the job quickly,
Okay.
and the rest was. So I told Antonio, well, if we see a place, we could try and do a private club or something like that. So he saw a place near Santa Maria Maggiore, via Sforza.
Hi.
It was a small place, a very strange place with two doors, and we went to see it. I thought, maybe we can try. I asked Orazio if we wanted to be in the partnership.
Yeah, I believe Ratio didn't even know what a pub was when you mentioned it.
No, he didn't even know what
concept.
He didn't even know what maybe a gin and tonic was.
Yeah. Wow.
Something like that. It was absolutely
New world to him.
so, and so we did it.
Good.
Was probably completely illegal
Oh, at the
because
start.
we did a private club. But you know, there were some illegality. We were selling alcohol that without a license, and that time there was a bit of a grey zone on the licensing because it was the time when the public licenses went from the police to the comune.
Ah.
Before, all hotel licenses, bar license, or restaurant license were issued by the police.
Ah.
That made the perfect intelligence system because most of the people owning bar restaurants were former policemen or carabinieri.
All right. Wow.
Because once they retired, they would start maybe a restaurant or a trattoria or a small hotel.
Wow.
But that was changing, so it was a bit different. So for years we started this private club.
And when you say private, it's like kind of like you have to sign your name in and get a card.
Yeah,
Associazione
exactly.
Culturale.
We did the statute,
Yeah.
and there was a membership card, and so everybody that came in was to give a document, we would register, and we still keep those records.
Oh, they're on the. I saw them. Yeah, they're great.
It's a couple of thousands people,
Wow.
even more maybe, and it was immediately a success.
Well, did you used to? You kind of got the clients from the Irish College.
Yeah. What made it a success was also that this guy studying to be a priest at the Irish College he used to come in on Saturday to play Irish music.
Oh, nice.
They had a group called Bowron.
Bowron.
Yeah. And especially two. One was Tony Lamb, who is a priest now, Father Tony, and another one was Liam Rowe, that now works for the disabled people in Dublin and the centre.
Oh.
He's not a priest anymore. Plus more others. They used to come every Saturday, and they attracted all sorts of expats.
Okay, so the word spread around.
The word spread around, was very successful.
Wow.
Well, there were no, was all music without any amplification.
So it's just like all the people that came were just solely English speaking.
English
clients.
people, and mostly were clericals.
So it must have been fun. Like, couldn't.
So we had loads of Jesuits, monks from St. Isidore, from the other place there, and it was Dominicans.
Wow.
All
the
very, very bright, incredible people. Yeah. And also the Beda College was the college for late vocations near St. Paolo. The most incredible people I met were from there, because they were all people that had a career, and they left everything to become priests.
Wow.
So, say, there was the son of the inventor of the zip.
The zip for trousers?
Yeah, kind of. I think he was of Russian origin or something.
Wow.
He was multimillionaire. He left to join the priesthood. Then there was another guy who had a chain of striptease places in Las Vegas. I don't know, something like that. He left also to be a priest. Then there was the brother of the Minister for Foreign Affairs in England, who was a professor of mathematics at Oxford. He left too. Plus more people. There was a national of the rugby, the Irish national rugby team. Timothy McGrath. who is a monk now in Ireland.
Wow.
Plus all incredible people, and it was a success.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because like probably in Rome, like probably most of Italy, there's this concept of an Irish pub. Just didn't exist.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think there was one other one. Was there one in Turin or something? Or
No, I think that was after. There was some sort of an Irish
community
congregation.
Yeah.
There was a guy in Rome, was a kind of a tourist guy.
Okay.
He used to bring all these buses of Irish people to a place on Viale Regina Margherita, was a pizzeria.
Okay.
And he had a small tape recorder and would play Irish music, and they would drink Italian beer. That was.
Okay.
What makes an Irish pub is the idea. The Irish pub is not a place; is an idea.
Yes.
It's something that happens where people feel at ease.
It's an atmosphere.
Yeah, an atmosphere.
Yeah, totally.
And you know, you don't recreate it artificially or
just buy it off the catalogue. You have to make it.
In fact, the pub, the Fiddlers Elbow, at the beginning was just a white room with a counter.
And you were selling draft or just solely?
No. There was no idea of draft because there were no Irish draft.
Okay.
In the only, say, kind of thing they used to sell Watneys in a place near Via Veneto.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was another place also they had draft.
Obviously because
was another place. I don't remember. The Red Bench was called.
Okay.
Another place,
wow.
which was good.
So how did you get your bottles? How did you get the import? I mean, sure there was no company in Italy actually importing.
There was a huge a guy who had the company, who had the agency for Guinness, with very bad results.
Okay.
His name was Gargiulo. He was a Napolitan guy, very fat guy, big, huge guy. So I found it on the Yellow Pages,
Right.
So I called him and. So he was very dubious, but in a few weeks we were selling all of the Guinness he was buying.
Distributing, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
then he became your best friend.
In a matter of a year, we would have delivered a truck of Guinness. It was in bottle. It was only Harp and Guinness in bottles.
Wow.
And we used to sell it for 500 lire.
Wow. Did you do any promotion or was it just word of mouth?
No promotion,
spread?
no, word of mouth.
Mm.
There was no promotion, there was no internet then, no Google, no
dark times.
But you had like Mary was there,
yeah,
she was working.
Loads of people came from the international organizations in
because
Rome.
it's like Mary was working for FAO, no?
For FAO,
so
yes.
she probably word them out there, and then she was you're both going
Exactly.
to the Irish College.
Lots of journalists
Yeah.
came from Associated Press,
Yeah,
all sorts, and they made it really. So it was great time. They lasted until we went to a bigger premises.
That's when you went to Via dell'Olmata then.
Via dell'Olmata was nearby.
Ah, great.
And but at the same, we still in Via dell'Olmata we had the public license, but we still had for a while the membership.
Okay.
That was to keep out unwanted people.
That don't spend too much money.
No, mostly,
well, taking up space and
at the
stuff.
time, the social tissue in Rome was very different. So you had hordes of males looking for this
The prey.
The prey. So you had to keep them out.
Gino, it hasn't changed much though. It's the same thing.
Now only got the hordes of this. You know, there's only a few men looking for this thing, and also there is competition now for the tourists. It's the Italian girls. You know, they go out. Then in 1976, 77, no Italian girls went out at night. Very few.
Really?
Very, very few. if they came out, there was with a boyfriend or the brother or something.
With some
Even in Rome, I was like.
It's like in Sicily, where my father's from. I remember because he had to go out actually, with family accompanying.
Exactly, yeah. But even when you went out with your girlfriend, she usually brought up a brother or some member of the to watch.
Of course.
Nothing could happen.
It's old school.
Horrible.
So also Italians didn't have this culture of drinking.
Of course.
I mean, not drinking to get drunk, which is bad, but drinking just 2 or 3 beers to enjoy yourself. And
Totally.
Maybe a bit tipsy or.
Yeah, it's a world apart, isn't it? Like, it must have been back then. I say it was very strange, or even for like a ratio even starting.
No, ratio, no. In fact, one of these early contributions was he brought a big knife and a salame. When nobody wanted it, salame, because there was no food, it was only drinking, and but the Irish pub is not only you drink because you talk, and you socialize and you meet people.
Yeah.
So maybe we were good at letting people meet. Which that's part of the game. It's very important in the sense. It's important also for you because you couldn't do your job if you had to talk all the time to customers. So the idea is you introduce customers to one another, so they talk among themselves. Right. And they come back because they have a place where they can socialize.
It's also an emotional memory.
Somebody.
Yeah, it's also an emotional memory, I suppose, because if they have a good time, they remember the place and so.
Yeah, well, I learned that from Gino. I remember going back to Dublin, working in a pub there, and it was like two guys are in the bar and they're all talking. Gino kind of gets them talking, and then another guy joins in, and they're all like having a few beers. It causes a reaction of conversation.
It is true, yeah.
It makes everybody a bit more happier.
I remember also Gino told me the same thing once. I tried to do the same at the open mic, but and from stage you can also observe it from a different angle. So I see people sitting there in that corner and in the other corner, and then when I get off stage, I'm like, hey, why don't you talk to that guy or girl?
You also load them from yourself,
Exactly.
Because bar work, it's heavy because you get all the problems, and. Nobody wants to hear your problems.
Exactly.
Right. They all want to unload their problems onto you.
Tell me about
it. And lots of people, especially single people, can't go to the pub because they feel alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they have to
do something.
The guys that they want to be all by themselves in a corner, usually they could be even dangerous.
Yeah.
You better leave them alone.
You want to
but sometimes they like they go into socializing also. Anyway, the quality of people was incredible at the beginning. Of course, with time, success, more people, that quality kind of
petered out.
Then we arrived.
No, but that would happen. Like as the word gets around, there's women going there. There's it's a good crack, good music going on. Like people probably walking by via dell'Olmata, the Fiddlers Elbow there and go, what the hell is this? There's queues of people on the street.
They used to be now. I mean,
you had to have a bouncer on the door, no, for a long time.
No, we had
just to
two
regulate.
Bouncers outside, the one inside.
Wow.
Stefanone and these people.
I only heard stories. I don't know him personally. No.
Big guy.
Yeah, but
that was a German or something. No,
that's
fine. I heard also stories, but
institution. Yeah. Then we had a Swiss manageress.
Oh yeah.
Sylvia.
I met her.
She was very good, and because of that, loads of Swiss guards used to come to the place to drink. So that was very interesting.
So when you were working for Singapore Airlines, you started to just really
stop. So I had to work during the day.
It must have killed you, man.
It
must have killed you.
Yeah.
So when was the transfer over? Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to focus on the Fiddlers Elbow.
It was after 2 years.
Oh, wow, you did that for 2 years, 2 jobs.
But we got help also from Singapore Airlines.
Really?
Because what happened is a part of various things like for instance, an air conditioning system. Now they changed the air conditioning system in Singapore Airlines, and the manager told me I could have it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we go. And then what happened was that at times they would give us all the things left on the planes, like all these cures of meat, beautiful food for the first class, if they didn't have enough passengers, and they would give it to us.
Really?
So some nights I offered all these incredible exotic
People drunk off their heads. This is
For
great
free.
service. Like Guinness on an airplane.
It's so crazy, like stuff like that is completely unthinkable of today.
That's
Like
great.
there must be thousands of secure licenses now. And
now it's
normatives.
Then also the time was the time of the Red Brigades, Le Brigaderos.
Oh, the bombs and everything, right?
in Rome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it was the time when Moro was killed.
Oh, all right.
So all over Rome was full of police, riots, Molotov cocktails.
Jesus.
And the one thing that the Fiddlers Elbow was noted for, that anybody could come in.
Mm-hmm.
A red guy, a black guy,
Yeah.
no problem. The only thing they shouldn't, make
Contact.
a mess. So it was very open. It was about the only place, because in Rome either you went to right-wing places or
okay.
the other.
So you were kind of in the middle, like.
No, we were open to everybody, but everyone had to behave.
Yeah.
We were Switzerland of pubs, basically. Neutral.
So neutral. But so it was a good experience. Then we moved to Via dell'Olmata and kept on. And
Is it true you never closed for one day in the last?
no, at the beginning we used to close on a Wednesday. Then we closed on a Monday. Then
But I work for you. I don't think they ever closed.
Never closed. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Then we never closed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even when there was snow or something. Yeah, that was.
So at that time, like, what was the opening hours? Was it like 6 o'clock till 12, or was?
The opening hours was from 7
All right.
until a 12:15
Oh.
on the dot.
Wow.
And it's been like that for years.
Wow.
And maybe should go back to that.
It's 7 o'clock.
I'm in favor. No, earlier maybe.
Oh yeah, I think
3, even 3 in the afternoon. But at night, 12:15, finish early.
Makes sense. Yeah. So
Because,
then the weekends, maybe an extra hour. Like.
We are, developing into that, and maybe have more food because people want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The idea of the pub by itself is nearly dead, even in Ireland or in
It's
England.
changing,
changing a lot.
The taste, the young kids, like my little sister, they don't drink Guinness or Harp or anything like that. They want to try other types of artisan beers, or, stuff. That's what's happening now with food. Like, it's kind of like wine and cheese.
Yeah, and
concept,
the ethnic places
Yeah,
they
yeah.
love. So it's different.
It's also maybe the health movement, that people want to be more healthy and they are do more sports.
They don't want to be more healthy, most
No.
of these people actually. Maybe they
They're
have more dangerous stuff. But they don't go to the pub
Okay.
to do it.
No, exactly.
In fact, the pub that they are struggling. Of course, in England, I don't know, many thousands of pubs have closed
Right.
in the past few years.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
a lot.
especially local places that are in small towns.
Mostly because of the drink and drive
Yeah.
problem.
But they're nice. It's sad that that's
So
happening.
country pubs are finished.
Yeah.
Right.
Very few left, and they have organized themselves with mini bosses, things, but it's not the same.
No.
Then there was the smoke ban, also that.
Did you feel an impact when it happened in Italy?
Not really in Italy, no. The smoke ban, the same.
Because here the weather is warm enough that you can just go outside and smoke outside of the bar.
But it made the smoking ban made another cultural, like people have met each other because of smoking outside, like a man and a woman.
Yeah,
you know?
That's
in
very
Ireland they just
important.
like, I remember happening, I was like, this is never going to work, and then I was outside smoking, and it was like, how you doing? And it was like everybody talking, and the pub is outside now on the street.
But not in the West. In the real West of Ireland, some people go to the pub, but they didn't want that to be public. So they didn't like the idea of being outside smoking. Be seen. He was at the pub. No?
But the one thing I noticed is the smells. Without the smoke, like you could smell some old man farts or something. It's like fucking, oh my god, that's disgusting, you know.
Right.
Like that came in, like, because then it was like carpets. I remember in pubs in Dublin there was a lot of pubs with carpets. Remember that? And they just ripped them out because they stunk. Because you can imagine all the sweat, all the stuff that went underneath. But you could never smell them because it's cigarettes.
It's true, yeah, it's always the same kind of peculiar smell of cigarettes.
40-year-old carpets.
40 years ago, say in Dublin, all the pubs were full of smoke.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember.
It was a cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
You came out and it was...
I used to, like, when my dad would bring me to Slattery's in Cable Street. It was just like I think there was more than just smoke there. It was other elements of smoke from different playing the music. But I remember just sitting there going, like, just like a cloud. You could barely see, like, your hand, you know. It's
crazy.
Amazing. It's crazy, man.
But it kind of gave it though a very peculiar, particular atmosphere too, no? It's like a bit adventurous, a bit. It felt like you were in some New Orleans club in the 70s or something, you know.
But I'd prefer it not now. But I remember when the smoking ban came in. Like I do smoke, but I always preferred outside anyway. I don't really like smoking indoors. And I remember going to France, and I wasn't there yet, and I was in Paris, and the next day it was like, jeez,
those smelling, ice burning.
Yeah, it just felt awful. Like it just felt
something
disgusting.
that was given by smoke was the color of the pub, because all these pubs were all yellowish.
The windows were all yellow.
Nearly going to
the
brown,
wallpaper.
You know, the wallpaper because of years of smoke.
Yeah.
But you only see it when you remove like a frame or something, and you see how white it is behind.
Like a mark on the wall. Right. It's that. So changed.
Yeah.
But the drink and drive was the biggest
that was
thing.
the biggest.
Even now, boy, the limits are really.
But even
in
the problem.
Ireland and England, it's the same limit, very low.
The problem, even in the cities,
a glass of beer or something.
But even the problem even in the cities is so expensive. Even to get into the city centre, like a taxi, the buses are expensive now.
Yeah.
People are like, well, let's go to Tesco and buy a few bottles of beer and just sit at home. Like, it's not worth.
So the pubs that didn't suffer, maybe not so much, were the ones in residential areas or near residential
near your house
areas
you can
where
walk.
you could walk to it.
True.
But also that was mostly an evening business. Usually those pubs are not full during the day. There is nobody, unless maybe they have a restaurant. Unless they have a restaurant, which most pubs now are even are restaurant pubs. I think maybe 90%.
Wow.
Everywhere. I mean, in Dublin, say for instance, most of the pubs give you some food.
Yeah.
And the ones in the country, food has become more important in a way, because you go there, they make an effort, because you go there for dinner, so they make.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I think it's better actually. It's a bit more.
That's in Rome. Okay, our experience is different. This was kind of an Irish pub in Rome. It was, in a way, everyone says it was very Irish, but the atmosphere was good, and we had only drink, no food at all. At the beginning, we didn't have even peanuts. So, but then we are going on the same way.
It's also your first experience, so you never ran a pub before, so first you had to figure out a lot of stuff, I suppose. Also the bureaucracy parts, the drinks, the...
There is another thing that for Italy, Rome, that when we opened in 1976, it was the prime of the baby boomers. So at the time I was 26, okay, and the baby boomers, the ones that were born from 1945 to 1955, were a good percentage of the population.
Okay.
You know, say the people between 18, 20 years old and 30 years, 35 years. Now they are a minority. There are no young people. There are many more places, especially pubs.
Right.
So all this youth is diluted.
Yes, yes.
And
we all moved out of the country.
And there are many less, and they have a much smaller buying power.
Yeah.
Because of interference from other things like mobile telephones, computers.
Thank you, Apple.
Clothes. Yeah. They have much less money to spend. You know, the ones that spend all their money on drink have a problem, kind of.
Yeah.
So they have less money for the drinking part, because they probably have more money in total, but they have they spend it just differently.
Then they go on holidays and they go, say, talking for England or Ireland, they go more to eat out.
Yeah.
Or so the pub is slowly but surely on the way out.
Okay.
Well, it has to. It's just changing, really. You have to change with it.
I know, but you will get niche
of
people. It won't be a mass thing like used. Even say the drinking. There is an anathema coming on drinking. You know, it will be less and less. Eventually, will be forbidden or something.
Yeah.
And you know, drink, I say in moderation, but drink is the thing that brings people together. The in vino veritas sort of a thing. You know, you lose on yourself, and maybe
inhibitions go
away. You're more sociable.
The tongue loosens, you know.
And that was the good thing. But now then also these mobile telephones. You know, you see now in pubs they go in, and they are ever checking their mobile phones.
It's just everywhere. You go to Starbucks in New York.
They say
why people walk, you know, on the street or in the
car.
What are they called? Social, socials.
The social media.
But they're not social at all, because they're social, you know, in an electronic way. Because you don't have a real contact with people. You know, you don't touch the people. You don't, you know, all those crowds. No, you don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they would impede you from watching your mobile.
We went, me and Paul and our ladies went eating the other day, and the experience also changes within the restaurants. Like now they have more and more restaurants have an iPad, for example, where there's not even a waiter anymore. So there's an iPad in the center. That contact there also goes away. Yeah. So you just order on the iPad. Then you send it, and then you hear the ding ding in the kitchen, and somebody walks in.
Isn't it? Like you walk in, you go, I don't want to talk to you. I just like to press a button, just bring me my food.
Now, if you go, there is that chain in England and a few ones in Ireland, Weatherspoons.
Yeah.
That's the way they act. You go, there is a computer, you want a beer and a fish and chip. Press.
Right.
And then you go to sit, and the fish and chip and the beer arrive. And usually you pay with a credit card at the spot. So you don't.
There's no contact.
Yeah.
It's crazy, But I don't know. I think I like it in a way, because sometimes the last time you went to a restaurant, the service was absolutely awful.
Well, in that case, it was good because the staff was so rude, and
Yeah.
that's probably the reason why they introduced the system in the first place, because they were really horrible staff there working, and the waiters were very unfriendly. And so now they just disappeared. And then the one person who's working in the kitchen is super friendly because she knows her job is on the line. She's going to be substituted by some robot in the future too. And so, very good experience now, very friendly.
Yeah, it was great.
It's a bit weird,
Yeah.
I must say, because it's very quiet in there, except for the people who obviously around us.
Yeah.
But there's not the typical hustle going on with the waiters walking around and being quick and
It
making
depends.
noise.
Like, I suppose it would probably be good for a fast food restaurant, you know, like where you don't have time to talk to customers, where you need to get your food fast and get in and out, and you want a rotation of people coming through.
But the place that was built on socializing and communicating, like the Fiddlers Elbow, for example, that's a very...
No, that's Fiddlers is the
this
opposite.
is an Anglo-American
concept.
sort of philosophy that's invading
The world.
the world. And you can't really stop it. It's difficult, you know, this productivity sort of a thing that you have more and more. So you need machines because
people want
they don't think, they do things without making mistakes. Or now it's different now. This part of entertainment kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also did a lot of music. The start was incredible because it was all naturally happening.
Yeah.
But even then we had music, not organized much, but it happened. Yeah.
Who was the first Irish person to work in your bar?
The first Irish person, it's difficult. I don't remember. Maybe it was Tiernan Maguire.
Tiernan.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe him. Yeah.
And so from the
then there was a Scottish girl, Shona. That was really at the beginning.
Did that change? Like, did it make it better? Having Tiernan, and was it better for?
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. Because naturally Irish people talk an awful lot.
Yeah.
So they are in their element.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I talk too much? Huh?
No, yeah, but some people, especially the red-headed people, they really talk too much. That's called the gift of the gab.
Gift of the gab. Yeah.
No, they love socializing, and so the Irish pub, the idea of Irish stuff, the sound. Okay, Irish people are different now than they used to, but in fact, when we got in this, the Guinness asked us to make a CD on Irish pubs in Europe, a DVD. So, and they picked 4 or 5 Irish pubs, the most famous in Europe, the ones that where they sell the most Guinness, and they picked our place in Florence that we had opened then. And then there was Copenhagen, one in Paris, one in Munich, and then another one, I don't remember. So they came in, interviews, things, and and then they made a sort of a format of an Irish pub. That was a DVD to explain how successful Irish pub could be. Then the format was they hired a company, I think it was the Irish Pub Company from Bray, to make the interiors. They had 3 types of interiors: old style, Victorian, and modern, or something like that.
Was this around the early 90s?
That was just 1989, 1990.
Yeah, because
there were very few pubs. After this campaign that lasted a couple of years, I think there were about 400 pubs in Europe.
Jesus.
Because loads of people decided there was a good
business.
But at that time the Irishness of the Irish pub was finished. But one of the things they were advising people to employ Irish staff. Even Guinness provided with some Irish staff. I remember I went to the Irish College to find accommodation for these guys that came to Rome on a stint of work. They were working for Guinness and working in Irish pubs. So the idea was also to have Irish staff. In fact, and then eventually all these Irish students went abroad. They could find a job in an Irish pub.
That's great. That's great. So when was the second bar you made? What was the second pub?
The second was the Druid's Den.
Was it 81?
No, it was about 1981 or 82.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call it the Fiddlers Elbow?
No, because that was a different sort of a thing
setup,
with my brother.
Okay.
And Mary also.
Okay.
Because she was part of the thing. And that was very successful.
Yeah.
But for years
it's a nice bar. It's a nice pub. Actually, I think it's one of the most Irishy pubs in Italy. It's really. When we play there a lot, so when we play there, like it's a nice small. It's almost like if you had the sawdust on the ground, it would be the finishing touch, Yeah,
it's a bit dirty. Yes.
no, but like has that, No, but it's nice. It's a nice pub. I like it. And I think Tonino does a nice job there.
Yeah, we did. I did the counter as well there. It was oldie counters in the pubs.
I used to have those old. Do you know the tap? What's it called? The lights. The Guinness one. The harp. The very nice
yeah. We didn't want to part with them, but they insisted. Yeah.
Oh, it's a great.
So it was that, and then there was another one in between. It was called the Four Green Fields. At the beginning, I was involved in that too. Then I left.
Okay.
I was in Prati.
Oh, so with Francesco.
That's still going. Yeah. That's still going.
All right.
And then after, for a long time, all the 80s, there were no more places open. Until this, the Guinness gave an impulse to this thing. And then in Rome, there were, I think, over 100 Irish pubs, even in Rome.
Wow. What?
Because, you may know somebody, some ones, but there were all in the periferia also, because people thought it could be, a good investment,
Yeah.
And then there was no effort, because they would sign agreements with Guinness and maybe get a loan and buy the stuff. They would come from Ireland to build it.
Yeah.
And that was like, anyway, the ones in the center like Trinity.
Yeah, Trinity College. It's basically O'Neill's pub and just off James Street.
They are all pubs that they're made up, engraved by the Irish pub company.
Exactly.
In pieces, like a Lego thing.
Yeah.
Now, I was very silly at the beginning. I thought that to have a good Irish pub, you had to have links to Ireland. But then that wasn't true anymore, because anybody could buy the idea of an Irish pub, at least the shell of it.
But if you notice, like your Irish pub is not like those catalogue.
No, in fact, we are not.
And most Irish pubs are not that way anyway. Back home, they're all kind of made from hand,
Yeah.
If they're not, then they're kind of.
Well, it used to be, because also in Ireland, when there was a bit of, I remember, also in the 90s, maybe, if you remember, loads of pubs, they did an overhaul of the interiors. They changed.
Yeah.
Loads of the older pubs, there are very few left now of the older. Most of them maybe they look Victorian, but it's a mock
Yes.
Victorian.
Exactly.
It's also the Irish pub company.
It's like that pub kind of reminds me, the Fiddlers remind a little bit O'Donoghue's in Baggot Street.
Yeah.
That guy there, he opened that in the 50s, I think, and it's where the Dubliners started off.
Yeah.
But that's all just handmade. Like he just
that's
that.
that's or there are the older pubs like the Oval.
Yeah.
Or you know those, which is very those ones. They're still the original.
It's a lovely bar, actually. The Oval, Jeez,
yeah.
forgot all about that.
But most of them, even the most successful, say Kennesaw, what's that? La Riva, the river. Some of the places really are. Then they go for bigger places, and usually they're part of a chain of pubs. So the individual owner of pubs is disappearing.
Yeah.
But that's not only even here, because there is a tendency for everything, restaurants to do chains, because once they find a successful format, they replicate.
So McDonald's started.
Why didn't you do a chain of pubs in Rome, like at the time?
No, because I thought that wrongly that a place, even Rome, couldn't sustain more than one or two Irish pubs. I was wrong,
Do you regret it now that you didn't go into?
No, because we then opened in Florence, we opened one in Bologna, we opened one in Venice, and we nearly opened one in Milan, but that didn't happen then. So it was very, very interesting.
So when did this? Then you had the Druids. Then after that, it was Florence, was it?
Allora, it was the Druids then, and then after that was the Marconi, the old Marconi. So now it's Birreria Marconi.
Oh, right.
But it was more of a pub then.
Okay.
The idea, because we were banking on the success. So we had the Fiddlers Elbow. Actually, we had. I was involved in the Fiddlers Elbow, the Marconi, and the Druids Den. Then we got the place in Florence, and which was extremely successful.
Yeah, it's a lovely
pub
as well.
Square, right? Santa
Maria.
I was very lucky there.
That's a beautiful pub.
I picked the place because I did part of the military service there.
Oh,
the training for officer in the Air Force. I did it. I did 3 months.
You went to the Air Force?
In the Air Force, yeah.
So you were flying?
An officer in the. No, I was Raiders. So.
Okay.
And because I spent 3 months, I loved Florence, and then I said to my partners, Orazio, Richard, and then my brother Tonino, it would be nice to open a place in Florence. Of course, Orazio was against us, but that's his part. You know, he's the against the guy, and
but he's cautious, Orazio. He's cautious.
You need a guy. You need a guy like that who keeps the other ones in check.
But you need a guy like that too. Maybe.
I don't know. Of course, it's very
you're the one that's got the idea.
Anyway, no, that's impossible. How can we do it? Anyway, very lucky because we nearly, because it was my responsibility. It was nearly a disaster, because I found this place. It was nice, very expensive, because everything is expensive. It was expensive in Florence, and it was an old bar with the billiards inside, very run down, in Piazza Santa Maria Novella. Okay, we got it. As usual with Richard, especially myself and Richard, we moved in, did all the jobs, counters.
Oh, yourself and Richard built it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Same thing. And it opened, and then we realized there was, Santa Maria Novella was the center of drug trafficking in Florence. So the early clientele was junkies, prostitutes, yeah, and some tourists that didn't know.
Yeah.
So it was. Then we got lucky because they moved say the center of the neo-fascist movement in Santa Maria Novella, and with that came the police.
Okay.
So, the police being there 24 hours a day, all the junkies, the prostitutes, they moved that to another square.
All right. So you're like, yeah.
And we got really bingo. And we had bought a place that was very expensive for us, for our pocket, but was cheap. In one of the main squares in Florence, and with the low rent.
It was devalued because of the.
And with the low rent also, a very long contract. And then it was an immediate success.
That's
even
great.
that.
Wow.
And for years it was the place that sold most Guinness in Italy.
Well, really?
Yeah.
It was a big bar. Have you ever there, so?
I've been there a few years ago, yeah. I think.
So a long bar, it's really
Yeah.
very nice. I'd say it's good. I played a gig there before.
So then Richard moved there, and so he was minding that. And at the beginning, for a couple of years, we used to.
So Richard, for everybody who doesn't know, is one of the
we went
co-owners.
There, we went there. Say for 3 days, each one of us.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So every day there was some of us there for 2 years.
Okay.
And that gave it a good start. Then we got a nice Irish manager, Matt Rogers. It's still there. It's very, and then an incredible bartender manager, Thomas Burke, who is now a professor at European University there.
Oh.
And was an incredible guy. He really built the place between him and the other guy. They were fantastic, perfect. Actually, Thomas Burke has written 2 or 3 books. He's quite
intelligent man.
Oh yeah, he's quite good.
Wow.
And he was good with the people and the business side of it.
Yeah. Because at the time he was doing a PhD at the European University.
And he worked there as well?
Yeah, he worked in the pub.
Wow.
And then he went away for a while, then he came back, he got a job at the European University, he's still there.
Wow. You still good friends with him still?
We're very good friends. Then there was another of the guys that used to come, Ed Byrne, another fantastic person. I used to work in the British Institute or something, British school in Florence. But Florence is a strange place. You know, the people from Florence are a bit snobby.
Yeah.
So we didn't get many of them, but tourists or expats, Florence is full of expats.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're there, but they like Florence. So
well, it's a Renaissance city.
Because Florence was historically part of the Grand Tour, so
it's a small city as well. Like it's easy to get around, and it is probably like there's a lot of students.
But tourists, there are about 60 or even more American universities. They have some sort of a foothold in Florence. And there are American students coming all the time. Actually, when I was in Florence during my military service, so one of the first pubs in Italy was in Florence, but was an English pub. Because at the time, but actually these English pubs, there was also one in Milan. I don't remember now the name of the one in Florence. the famous place was this English pub, and another place called the Red Garter was more of a music place. Have you ever played there?
No. The Red Garter.
Yeah.
No, wait, Red Garter, you know Enzo?
Enzo.
Enzo Lombardi,
he
Enzo
plays
Lombardi plays there on a regular
Yeah,
basis.
No, ask Enzo.
Well, I must ask him. Yeah.
Ask Enzo to get, it would be nice to play there.
Yeah,
I'd like to
actually,
play
he
Florence.
showed me the
Yeah.
place actually. Like Enzo gave me a tour once on all the places he plays in Florence when we did the open mic there.
He's an
That's right.
animal. He's an animal. That
He's
guy.
like a very good
He's
showman.
gigging all the time, like, every day.
It's very good. He worked in the pub in the back.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
And he used to have a little show in the back before, but he's a natural.
Marino discovered him playing. He was playing one night on
Next to trash bins or
on a
something.
trash bin. He was really depressed or something. His girlfriend
Dublin,
broke
right?
up, and he started singing these Italian songs. And Marino's walking by. Hey, what are you doing? Come on, let's go to the back room.
Yeah, he was very good. He's a natural entertainer.
Yeah, he's great.
doing very well. Yes, if you ask,
Yeah, we should.
Sure.
because he's a very open man. Then he's a nice guy. So there was an English pub. I don't remember the name. But these English pubs, no, I'm sorry for the. There was something in the 70s. Then I don't know why. They were never popular. There was never a kind of phenomenon like with the Irish pubs. You never had 800 English pubs in mainland
there was
Europe.
one in Rome as well, near the Piazza Venezia.
Yeah, that was, I told, what was the place where they used to sell Watneys?
Yeah.
I don't remember
I can't
the
name,
name.
something
Because
Bow
you
or
don't
something.
remember, yeah, because it was boring.
Yeah.
There's something connected to the like to me an Irish pub, for example. There's something connected to the name Irish pub. Like when I hear an Irish pub, I expect it's like an airport where there's a lot of people. So I expect there to be other people. There's the social element of it.
Yeah,
That's kind of connected to it. And Guinness, of course.
Yeah.
And so I would not expect.
Yeah.
Somehow I connected
It's
more with
not
an
really-
Irish
there's
pub
not
than with
really
an
an actual type of English pubs per se. Like they're kind of more like they're more like, they have a right actually. They're more like food and drink in England. Like it's something, I can't describe it. Like it's not really a pub. It's kind of like half restaurant, half pub.
right.
Like those village bars, and they're very nice, man. I think they're lovely. And it's a bit like, they're more like sitting rooms. You know, like they have the carpet and stuff. They're not like a pub or, you know, it's like it's a bit more politically correct or
So
something.
do you think that maybe just
You
Guinness
never
did a
find
great job?
hanger in an Irish pub.
Yeah.
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 You know, with Richard months ago, he wanted to put hangers. I said, listen, have you ever seen a hanger in an Irish place where you put? Usually the cook goes on the ground.
On the ground, or you have to. They always look for all the men,
It
or
would
they
be
always look for the
impossible,
hooks.
even because in an Irish pub you drink seriously, you would never find your coat on an hanger.
It's a hanger, what the hell?
You take
cloak.
somebody else's coat.
Get a cloakroom in an Irish. Well, hey, hello, can I have ticket number 4? I'll be back after 10 pints of Guinness, you know.
In fact, you know, after that, I go to Ireland a lot. I was checking this.
That does not exist, my friend.
No.
Maybe in a restaurant.
Even places that are very known, like Finnegan's there in Dockies, very well known.
It doesn't exist.
You know, it doesn't exist. You put it on the ground or on the seat. That's it.
So we go to Florence. Then after
Then
that,
was Venice.
wow.
Venice
You
was
lived there
good.
for a while, no?
Yeah, I moved to Venice. It was
beautiful
a great
city.
experience for 2 years.
2 years you lived there.
Not 2 years. With the family for slightly less than 2 years. I moved there with the 5 children and all.
Wow.
And it was a great experience.
The kids like it?
Yeah. At the same time, I was I was going to Florence, Rome, Bologna.
Doing the rounds.
because after Venice we did Bologna. Venice was an incredible experience.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's so, if you live there, you discover there is something about it. It's a bit claustrophobic though.
There's the water.
We are on an island,
yeah.
actually. And it's mostly old people.
And lots of tourists.
And lots of tourists, but in the evening it's like that Count Dracula is coming out because everybody runs away.
Yeah.
They go out. So very few people know that the real population of Venice is about 25,000-30,000 people.
Mm.
Like both.
They all think of it like a capital, because all the structures of a capital, theaters, things, people. But actually, the number of Venetians is very low.
But most people live on the mainland, I suppose.
They live on the mainland, they come to work. And then there are the tourists, a few 100,000 every day.
It's incredible, huh?
So, but even then, it looks packed, but if you move 50 yards, it's dead.
Yeah.
From the main,
Yeah.
and it's silent. And it's like a dead place.
It's actually
So
true.
what gave you the idea to go to Venice? Just like, why did, again, the
The
same
Grand
thing with...
Tour thing.
Rats, you agree with that, or not?
Of course. No, what's the Grand Tour?
Yeah?
Grand Tour?
Yeah, because you know when these English people who used to come in the 19th century, all these poets, the Grand Tour was, you went down Italy, Venice, Florence, Rome, and then you went on to Greece.
Okay.
And everyone had to do that.
So you thought your idea was like...
It was a sort of a thing.
That makes sense.
And so the tourist trail usually is Venice, Florence, Rome.
But that's true, because you meet me, where were you before here? I was in Venice and Florence, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Was Venice successful? You liked it? Or like the pub?
Yeah, it was difficult.
I've never been there.
Then was successful, and we also had incredible Irish staff there. Very good. There was Anne Murphy at the beginning. She was the manageress. She was a former babysitter in my house.
Wow.
She was very good. And then Dave, who is in your business in a different way, he's a sound engineer. You know him? David.
What's his surname?
I don't remember. Then there was an American guy, Peter Esling, he was very good too. He's professor of Latin in a British university. Wow. He even got the driving license for the gondola in Venice, which is a very hard,
Yeah, I'd say that's a closed network.
Yeah.
That's like the father-son kind of business.
I don't remember the name. David, you should know. He's very successful.
So I think Richard
he got the BAFTA too.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Is he from Dublin, is he?
He's from Dublin, yeah.
I think I know, maybe no,
Cool. Yeah, he's from near Dorky. Not Sandico, the other.
It's a guy that does the composer and he composes for movies as well.
No, he's
John,
a sound.
Just totally sound engineer.
Yeah. No, that's Gazebo.
No, it's another. I know Gazebo.
Another Irish guy. Yeah. No, David. I don't remember his surname now, but very successful in the sound.
Sound world.
Sound world.
Wow, that's cool. So there's a lot of interesting people coming through the bars.
Yeah, and he was in Venice. And Venice was
was it a big pub? Was it the same size as the Fiddlers? Or?
Same size, more or less, of the Fiddlers.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly smaller.
Yeah, was it
It
good
was
business?
in Cannareggio, between the station and the famous bridge.
Is it like in a very small square?
In a very
Because
small
I think
square.
I went there when I was in Venice last time,
Yeah.
but obviously now the name has changed and
Now
everything.
it's called the Irish Pub.
Right, it's just called that, yeah.
Why
Yeah.
a stupid name?
Now, we organized the music there, all sport events and things. It was very, very good, very successful.
How long was that for? Was 17 years?
No, that was from 93.
Ah.
93 to 2010.
Oh.
So yeah, around 17 years.
Cool. Well, I'm intrigued about Bologna. I never knew you had a bar there.
Yeah, we had a bar in Bologna, and that was the maximum of the splendor
the
of
peak,
our, the
trail,
peak of our...
The Gino Trail.
Yeah. No,
Of the empire.
So it was fun. Yeah, Richard found that.
Oh,
And it was a very nice place. I don't even remember the square now, but it was a nice place, big place. And we sent there as a manageress Sylvia, the Swiss girl, because we trusted her. And at the beginning I was struggling a bit. Okay. I would have, we should have kept on. Orazio and dangerous.
hesitant, yeah.
So, and from there on, say the Fiddlers Elbow thing went. Now we're coming down from the peak.
Okay. But what year was that, the Bologna?
Bologna was about 97.
Are you just in the wrong location there, or was it like... Because there's a lot of students there, no? It's like...
No, the location was good for certain, because it's just on the main ring around Bologna. But Bologna is small, so there are lots of students. No, we needed more time, you know.
I just didn't last too long.
You can't have a place instant, you know, because then, you know, when we started that, there was already, we had loads of competition.
Oh, okay.
Because of the Irish pub business thing, you know.
So it was probably a bit too late, if you had it earlier.
Yeah, if it was earlier, it would have been, but there it could have been a success if we stayed on.
Yeah.
But then at the time I moved to Ireland, so I couldn't, because I opened the restaurant. But I opened the restaurant because I was bored and my wife Mary wanted to be in Ireland for a while. Her mother had died, and so.
Okay.
So I opened the place in Ireland. So myself, I was still expanding.
Yeah.
And then we had opened also the Druids Rock in Rome.
Oh yeah.
That was after then, okay.
Yeah.
That was a nice big place.
Which was a big place and a good place for music.
Yeah, it was great. We played loads of gigs
because it was structured so you could listen to the music.
It was a perfect
and be at the counter in a way. And that's the problem with the Fiddlers Elbow, or even the Druids there. Not the Druids there now.
Well, I think it was a good thing for you back then because it was a side street, known.
Yeah,
you know.
no, but then it was good with spontaneous music. But if you have to organize something and pay the musicians, it's difficult because there isn't enough. You can't have them pay a ticket because the Druids Rock invece was big.
Yeah, it was a great place.
And there was a nice palco.
And you also even had like area above
palco,
where you could watch from above. That was also very nice.
They could with those.
That was you and Tonino, wasn't it?
Huh?
The bar was supposed to be yourself and your brother. Tonino.
Myself and Tonino, like the Druids then.
Yeah. That's good. So the back row,
the back row was very successful.
Beautiful restaurant. You ate there, remember?
Yeah, we were together.
It was there for 20 years.
That was a great place.
It was a nice place. I met lots of nice people there.
Yeah, it's on the Temple Bar, the meeting square in Temple Bar.
Square in Temple
So you were bored, so you just had to do something.
So I met Tiernan Maguire, who had been the first Irish bartender, and we opened this thing.
What was it like doing, compared to Rome, like setting up a business in Dublin?
Much easier.
Just 3 days or something.
Yeah. So a limited company.
It's a blank piece of paper.
Right, it's incredible.
A limited company took us 1 day.
Yeah.
Here at the time it was about a couple of months.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Then all the setting and the license took us 10 days. Here would take you years.
But it's more expensive there now.
Not really.
No?
Cheaper.
It was cheaper, was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I imagine that today it's even worse than back then with the bureaucracy and Italy,
Yeah.
Oh.
Cheaper. I mean.
So how did you find this place? It was run by Quakers, no? A family of Quakers owned the building.
No,
they were
Jewish.
Jews. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you find it?
It was very strange. They couldn't. It was difficult to rent it.
Really?
Because it was kind of an old cellar of this 17th century house. One of the few that's still out there. So anyway, Tiernan found it, and so I went to see it. Said, okay, let's go, and we did it. It was very successful.
Yeah, that's great. You were like one of the first people to bring in alla spina di prosecco.
Wine on draft. We were the first.
Yeah.
Now they're.
The porterhouse was the second, because he must have copied you for that.
They are bringing it now.
Yeah.
But now it's easier because they use also plastic containers. They don't have to send back the cakes like.
It's true that you drove from Italy to there, but brought everything that's in that restaurant.
No.
Not at the chairs.
Some of it. No, it was a container. I asked one of the beer people here to help me. So I hired a container, half a container, which huge. Half a container is huge. So all the tables, the marbles, the things that we made, all the kegs, everything. Was put on that container. On my van, I put all the wood to make the place.
Yeah, that's
so
what
I drove there
everything over from Italy.
And I did it myself. It took us a month. In fact, Marino, every afternoon he used to pass by and look around.
So it's a trattoria. It was the first.
First
trattoria in Dublin. Could you imagine an Italian walking by? It's like maybe me, like 1976, an Irish pub in Rome. You know, same thing for Marino.
No, because there were all kind of Italian restaurants, but they all had the Czech tablecloth. They all made tortellini.
Yeah.
It was
typical.
They all made the what's called that thing in Rome with the cream instead.
Carbonara.
La carbonara with cream instead, and made the scaloppina with pork because they couldn't find veal. No, we started with porchetta, Italian sausages. So it was very.
And the wine and the trattoria.
The wine on the draft was very successful. Yeah. We sold it cheap by Irish standard.
Well,
€20
how did you get that over there?
€20 for a litre.
Robbing bastards. I went there once, robbing bastards. I had to call Gino for a discount. Roll.
Yeah.
I said, Gino, I'm in your restaurant. Like, please give me 15% off. Temple Bar prices, you know.
How about the even now in Temple Bar, a pint is €7.
Even more, I say.
Even more at times, yeah. Wow. Yeah, the only place that does it is that pub on the bridge, the Penny Bridge pub.
The Halfpenny Inn.
Halfpenny.
That's great.
They have good music there.
Yes, and good Guinness as well.
And good Guinness.
Yeah, it's a great bar. We were there as well. Remember
I said the one.
Yeah, that pub.
Oh,
You arrived.
when we took the picture with
That
Molly
was the
from
start. We went to Dublin together. That was the first bar we went into. It was like 4 o'clock.
You used to go there. It was
So
Limo.
Limo Kelly goes.
We met there actually too. Yeah.
We went to your restaurant. We went to your restaurant with Limo as well. That night.
Yeah, he likes.
Because we had our friend Mario from A. He was like only off the plane for 5 hours. He was, I need Italian food. I was like, what do you mean? I can get some. I need some fish. He goes to the back row, orders bacala. It's like he could have went to a chipper. He got fresh cotton chips or something. You know.
It was a great experience. That it was really.
What's
nice.
the name of Bacaro? I don't understand.
No, the idea was in Venice you have a bakery, which are sort of tavern places where you drink wine, have some ham, or a little tapas sort of. But Bacaro is written with one C. Il Baccaro. I wanted to stress out the fact that at the beginning we did our cuisine was half from Venice, half from Rome. So because in Rome we always double the letters.
Yeah.
So I called it Il Baccaro, but when somebody asked, was easier to say I comes from Bacchus. Because it is too complicated.
Yeah, true. That's good.
But Bagari are called Bagari, I think, because there was a particular type of wine that was sold by a family called Baccaro, or from a place called Baccaro. Yeah, that's like in Milan there are i Trani. They are like Bagari, but they used to sell wine from Trani in southern Italy. So, but it was a good experience.
I say you've had some nice clients there, like really interesting, like celebrities.
Yeah, I don't remember now, but you know
Was it Sinead O'Connor there once? She on the phone for 1 hour, and was it Sinead O'Connor? She used the phone.
Sinead O'Connor, yeah, but also that guy. That guy who is nearly toothless.
Shane McGowan.
Shane McGowan.
As he drank everything in the place, did he?
Yeah, more. He had the plate of. He came a few times. But one time they were particularly happy about it because he had a plate of pasta, some wine, some second course, and he left 100 euros and went. So it was a tip of 70 euros.
Wow, he's a cool guy, you know.
Yeah. Then the guy from Father Ted used to come.
Dermot Morgan.
Yeah. He came quite a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the Italian ambassador and stuff?
Not the Italian ambassador never came.
No?
Thank God. I mean, but the British ambassador used to come, and the Gardaí would come before to check it out.
Oh. Yeah. The Gardaí are police officers.
The American ambassador, also the French ambassador, the Danish.
Were you cooking as well there? Were you making food? Or
sometimes I did, but only when I was over, because I wasn't all the time there.
Yeah.
But I did some of the things that I like to. Like squid or bacalao bolognese or this sort of.
But how did you keep all these places under control in a certain way? How do you manage all these? No computers. You just trust them.
Trusting people.
Yeah. And how do you learn to trust people? Because
personally,
I have a big problem with that. Delegating, trusting.
If you are honest, you trust people. If otherwise,
what could you do? No. Have you ever been ripped off?
Of course, like anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what can you do about it then?
Especially, you know, some people, you have this problem with, say, bar staff, especially Irish, but they have a tendency to drink on the wall.
That is true, folks.
I think that's a myth.
And they are attracted,
urban legend.
like say, pedophiles try and find places, you know, in sports. activities or the Boy Scouts. Or
So,
Irish drinkers try to get a job in a pub, just to be in the, and they can be, sometimes a bit too much, Like I remember in the Druids then, at Tiernan they used to drink about 10 pints, so at least they can't do that.
Every single night?
But then he started bringing his own 2 liter
and then
bottle.
he started to bring his 2 liters bottle of wine. I said,
what?
Yeah.
So he's like, I need me gargle, he says.
Can you imagine? So,
Jesus.
no, that's a tendency, not much stealing money, but it's also giving drinks to friends. That's quite common.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes, some people use, a friend would come in, and they'd take a drink and they would pay with 10 euros.
Okay.
And then he would give him back the change of 50.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, that's stealing money.
That's stealing
Right.
money.
Shit.
So it depends, but very rarely. Most people are.
I think you have to take it. Like, I mean, I'll be honest. When I worked there, I had a few points. I didn't go crazy or anything like that, but it's kind of like just part of the job,
Yeah. So now, the idea is zero tolerance and things like it is in Ireland. I remember once in a place in Ireland, the owner caught an older barman drinking a pint behind the counter.
It's very unheard of there, actually.
He just went mad.
They don't like it at all.
You don't want that.
No, it's true.
He was incredible. That Seamus was his name, the owner. Place called the Club in Docky.
So that was it then? No more businesses then? That was it?
No. Up to now, no.
Maybe
we're trying to transform part of the Fiddlers into the back part into more of an eating place.
When are you going to do that?
Fairly soon.
Fairly soon. Are you going to change the?
No, the kitchen is already there. Where maybe it'll be a bit big. We are starting to do steaks and things with Irish meat.
Nice.
Okay.
That's good.
Some Irish things and some Italian things.
Mixed together.
A small menu, hopefully well done.
Was there ever any businesses that you were asked to join but you didn't, and you
loads of
regrets?
No,
anyone
in
particular?
No, because it's not easy anyway. This area, like restaurants, bars, thing. There is a high percentage of failure.
Really?
Right.
Actually, I think 1 in 2 failed in the first year.
And why do you think that is?
Because you see, it's a difficult. The competition is incredible. Okay, it's fairly easy to do these places because you don't really to start off. It's not that you need a huge capital. You need some money. So that attracts loads of people that have no skill and a bit of money, and they think it's easy, but it's not. It's very complicated.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So now, especially, there is this problem that in Italy, especially, that the young people cannot find a job. So maybe the father, maybe they start a business for the son. They give him money, and that usually ends up in failure.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see, it is very competitive. Then now the rules, you have to follow all sorts of rules. Before it was.
There wasn't any
That's
health and
just
safety.
And now it's
Forest brown envelopes.
yeah, it's It's very difficult, and also there is competition from the big companies. They're eating everything.
Like the big chains now.
So it's like everything else. Like the druggery in Rome, they're disappeared. The small shop, they're gone. Now even the big shop will be going because of Amazon or thing.
Right.
So
that annoyed me in
That's
Ireland when Tesco came in and these big, like the bread, the quality of bread went, because all these little bread panerias, you know, like the bread. There was lovely bread in Dublin. Like you can buy nice bread, like fresh loaf of bread, like you know, handmade or whatever. And then these guys come in and they all just close
with all
down.
this pre-baked crap.
Yeah.
So now they're even getting the small places. So now more and more small places are part of a chain.
Yeah.
And they have one guy there, usually an immigrant, or and it's a format.
Yeah.
So you find the same thing, maybe in another quartier.
Yeah.
And that's starting also, like now for instance you have all these vegetable shops, they're all the same, those mini markets,
right?
And the same applies to bars and things.
It's pretty much more like in cities though. If you go to where we have our house in Narni, there's like, they just don't change.
No, I don't think so. Because most of the people, you know why, there are very few shops, even in that, because they all go to the 2 or 3 supermarkets, you know, especially in the country, they move by car and they go to the supermarket.
So they do a lot of shopping there, get everything cheaper.
Places, because it's cheaper.
Yeah, for the whole family, especially if you have a family, you go for a cheap.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
in the end, it's all
like
about
markets,
the money.
though, like these fruit and veg markets and fish markets in Narniscalo, and
you know,
they're on like every day. Like, you know, no one knows about them, but that for me is like.
They told me that say the market in Narni, the one that you went to, was the only place before the supermarkets. To imagine before the supermarket, if now you find a store, how many would you find? Even have you seen the Saturday market is shrinking? That used to be an event, they tell me. Imagine, before they had supermarket, you could buy everything there, shoes. It was an open-air supermarket with
different parts.
No, it's Amazon thing. You know, the drone will bring you...
Get your cappuccino. Right.
The pannoloni for diapers for your old age. Okay.
Where are you from, Gino? You're from Ciampino, is it? Rome? Ciampino?
Yeah, no, I'm from Rome.
What part of Rome?
No, Rome. I was born in Rome.
What part of Rome?
My parents were living in Bracciano at the time, but I was born in Rome.
What part?
I was born near St. Peter's.
But if you could start all over again, would you do anything different?
Not really.
So I think
it's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll do it all by myself, but no.
Would you ever retire?
I had loads of free time. I'll be retired.
No, are you ever going to retire?
No, they retire.
Oh, well, when the Lord comes down and the Lord smiles on you.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Great. Well, Gino, I appreciate very much that you came here. I know you're a very busy person with thousands of things that you are working on. And also, Paul, thank you very much for coming here to the Heysal podcast.
It's a great pleasure again. See you.
And yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
All the best.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.